A very good morning, it's Fabio, and welcome back to another daily market update where we discuss all of the major dollar pairs, potential trade opportunities, and of course the fundamentals. Now, yesterday was a massive day as in the United States we had the interest rate decisions. Interest rates remained the same, but today is still a very big day with interest rates on both the pound and the Swiss franc going to be coming out. So, guys, quick update here is that the Federal Open Market Committee voted to keep the benchmark federal funds rate in a range of 4.25 to 4.5%. and slow the pace of reducing its balance sheet. To be honest, nothing new as expected. Fed officials marked down their forecasts for the growth of this year, boosted estimates of inflation, and continued to pencil in 0.5 percentage point of rate cuts this year as well. And Powell said that recession odds have moved up but are not high. Now, especially this last remark is very important to understand because last night we saw a massive rally on both Bitcoin and in stocks. We actually saw the largest rally in stocks since a Fed FOMC announcement back since July. So massive market movements, and let's see what this is currently doing to the major dollar pairs because, guys, EURUSD is pushing down lower but still inside daily order flow. Now, as you guys know, we are still here on this overall liquidity high. After grabbing that liquidity high, we've now started to see slow down. We've seen a or somewhat of a double top at the moment here on the daily time frame, and I'm looking for that deeper correction now on EURUSD to start unfolding. All of those remarks that the Fed made last night are pretty much already priced into the market, and we're now looking to see a deeper correction on EURUSD. However, you guys know exactly what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the overall fractal structure to break. Now, the fractal structure, again, for those who do not understand, is simply the market structure based on individual candlesticks. So what we see here is a push up in towards this high. We see a pull back down in towards this low. We see a push in towards this high, pull back down in towards this low, push in towards this high, and now potentially forming a low here before shooting up, or we break this overall fractal low and then we see that for the downside. Now, if we break that fractal low over here, the black line, then we will form an area of supply on the overall buy before the sell, and that for me will be the sign to look for a potential further EURUSD correction in towards the downside. Okay, guys, so that is currently still the game plan for EURUSD overall. At the moment, you could look for longs in the near future as the overall market is still bullish. However, if you want to get in on those longs, we need to wait for the order flow to shift, because on the 4 hour it's probably already a little bit clear for you, but on the 1 hour it will become a lot more clear, and that is the fact that we have bearish order flow. Okay, so we have an overall buy up before a strong sell down. We tap in towards there and then again we sell off. Then again we have an area of consolidation, also known as the buy before the sell, and then again we buy up, sell down, come back in towards that supply zone, excuse me for my voice, and then we head down lower once again. Now, what would you need for potential longs on EURUSD? Now, what has happened is that we've built up a lot of liquidity yesterday, or we've grabbed a lot of liquidity underneath this low over here, which was underneath this range. Now, what I'm ultimately looking for on euro dollar, because a lot of people thought that, okay, it's time to go along with this bullish candle over here after grabbing liquidity and the overall market structure still being bullish. But what you need to understand is that we needed a little bit more confirmation and the overall order flow to break as well. So what I'm looking for from EURUSD is very, very simple, guys. For short, we need to break that daily fractal structure, and then we'll look at getting into a short position. For longs, what needs to happen is that we need to take out this low and then see a V-shaped reversal in towards the highs, break this market structure over here, and then we'll get into longs on the newly formed area of demand further in towards the highs. Now, moving on into the dollar index, because the dollar index is still consolidating, guys. You know that there is still potential for a further pullback in towards the upside. At the moment, what I need you to understand, and I can see that the chart is a little bit dirty, but it's very, very simple, and I'm going to try and explain it very slowly for you guys. What we have here on the weekly time frame is a low. This is a liquidity low. Now, a market can reverse from 2 points, either from a liquidity low like this one or from a demand zone like this one. So always keep your eyes open at a liquidity low and at a demand zone. Now, we also, for example, had a liquidity low over here back in the past. However, as you can see, this didn't cause an overall reversal in towards the upside. Now, what trick do we use to understand that that pullback is actually going to come? Well, a daily change of character, because at the time, for example, over here, you can see there was 0-0 reaction. So we don't start buying. Here, now we're at this low, and you're starting to see some descending corrective price action, which is often a sign of a potential reversal incoming in towards the highs. Looking here at the 4 hour time frame, however, you can see that the market is very clearly consolidating. It's still stuck within a range, and we have a level of resistance over here, which is stopping the market from pushing up higher, and we have a level of support over here, which is stopping the market from pushing down any lower. Now, do not get caught up in fractal structure within a range, because that is where a lot of people often go into the mist, as I like to call it, because what we're now seeing here is a grab of liquidity underneath the low, and what we saw here in the past was a grab of liquidity above the high. Okay, so highs grabbed, lows grabbed. So what we need to do now is just wait for the overall market to start breaking out, and then show us its hand, show us its momentum, and it needs to start breaking that 104 level, which is currently your area of resistance, because otherwise we could just bounce back in towards the downside and continue consolidating. So you really want to start seeing some momentum. Yes, it does look good for a potential pullback, guys, but we do not want to get rushed into a position just based on what we think. Okay, so wait for that overall structure to break out of that range. Preferably you want to see a candle close above this daily fractal high, and then there's still going to be a lot of room to pull back, for example, all the way back up in towards this supply zone over here, before then heading down lower, in my opinion. Okay, or if we just find resistance here, we could just start pushing down lower again, and then we'll start pushing in towards that weekly area of demand. Now, going into AUDUSD next, AUDUSD is pulling back nicely here on the weekly time frame, still inside a weekly area of demand, so still looking good for longs in my opinion after sweeping this low here to our left. The overall weekly fractal structure remains very well intact, with this being your low and this being your high. So on the weekly time frame, I'm looking for further upside. Now, going into the daily, we're seeing a nice retracement in towards this overall sell before the buy over here, from where we could look for some more potential longs. Now, what you then need to do is go to the lower time frame and look for confirmation inside of that daily demand zone. However, keep in mind, we do have some equal lows over here, so it could just push down a little bit lower, which in my opinion, again, is perfectly fine. I'll just wait for the overall market structure to shift again before then getting into a long position, because it's still at very good value for further upside. Going into the 4-hour time frame, if you are looking for longs, then obviously you need to do this, and that is wait for the confirmation. Here we have the buy before the sell. Here again, we have the buy before the sell, and you can see yesterday again, we just, with that FOMC news, we just push up in towards supply, and then from there we sell off once again. So it's very clear to me, overall order flow is still bearish, so there's no long opportunities yet. So don't spam yourself or get FOMO. Oh, I need to get into longs. No, we need to wait for the market structure to shift again. So what kind of market structure shift do we need? Well, we need this area of supply now to break. So we need to see an overall reversal in towards the highs, break of this fractal high, and then we form an area of demand on the overall sell before the buy up, and then inside there you can start looking for a long position once again. But now you don't want to be buying against the momentum, which is definitely in towards the downside, as simple as that. So if you are looking for trade opportunity on AUDUSD and you're interested in shorting it, then obviously just follow the overall momentum. Market structure here directly is bearish in towards the downside, so for example, wait for this high to get taken out. Here we still have supply, and then wait, for example, for a change of character, and then you could take a short position. Preferably, I'm just waiting for longs because of my higher time frame bias, and I'll just wait for the fractal structure to shift with this blue line to break, and then I'll look to get into a long position. Going into GBPUSD next, we can see that GU itself is very consolidative at the moment. It's pushing down lower, obviously with some dollar strength that we've currently seen until or up to today. Overall, we are still inside daily demand over here, and shorts for myself will only become valid once we break the daily fractal low, which is this low over here. Then I'll start looking for a short position, because for now buyers are still in control, demand is still in control, so shorting in my opinion is not a very good idea just yet. Also on the 4-hour time frame, like you can see, we are still ascending corrective, and as I mentioned yesterday, like you're swiping highs, swiping highs, swiping highs, like every single time you swipe a high, reversal, reversal, reversal. So this is very dangerous territory to get into a position. I understand a lot of you are looking to short this, but just wait for that daily fractal structure shift to happen, and then you'll have a far higher probability short positions. Okay, obviously I'm not looking to long it because of the overextended nature. We've seen a massive rally up, and now we have an ascending correction. So for myself, there's just not really a lot of it's not high probability to long this at the moment. I would definitely need to see some more lows swiped, and then for example a reversal back up higher if the overall fractal structure allows was that. Going into NZDUSD, we can see that NU is pushing down lower as expected from that weekly supply zone. You can very well see that that weekly area of supply is currently causing the market to push down lower. At this point in time, I am looking for price to find support in the sense that it needs to tap back in towards this daily area of demand. And then once we tap into this daily area of demand, you know what to do. We wait on the 4-hour time frame for an overall structural shift. So at this point in time, still supply is in control and pushing the market down lower, as we can see. So again, now this is currently your area of supply that is in control. So just wait for this overall range to get hit. And then once we hit that range, you just wait for the market structure to shift again, show its hand, and then again become bullish. As simple as that. That's why we have a high win rate, guys, because we wait and we strike at the right moment. And these pullbacks are perfectly normal that we are seeing before then potentially. I'm not saying that it will happen, but I'm still looking for further upside before that further upside will happen. So then we just wait on the 4-hour time frame to see the market structure shift again, and then we get into more longs. Now, you don't want to be getting into short positions anymore as we're entering this area of demand, in my opinion. Going into USDJPY next. So UJ is pushing down lower since yesterday. As we can see, the overall daily fractal structure is still being respected. Overall, this is your daily area of supply over here, with this being your daily fractal high. So the daily fractal high got respected, and all you need to do now is still look for further downside as long as that black line over here is respected. If we were to break that black line, then I'll be interested in longs once again. Until then, shorts are for me the only option. Looking here at the 4-hour time frame, we can now see that we have this area of supply in control. So what you now would want to do is wait for the market to retrace into that supply zone, and then look on the 1-hour time frame for that change of character to potentially get into a short position. If you don't get that change of character, then what could happen is that we just continue to push up higher. There's no liquidity in the overall push down, so it could just liquidate the highs first. Keep that in mind. So that's it for today, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. Wish you all a fantastic trading day, and see you on the New York live session this afternoon.